You can lose weight everywhere and still lose the battle where it matters most. Your clothes get looser, the scale goes down, yet the belly refuses to leave. That's because belly fat is not just sitting under your skin. The real enemy is hidden deeper. It's called visceral fat, the fat packed tightly around your organs, wrapped around your liver, pressing against your stomach, surrounding your pancreas. And this is not harmless fat. This is the fat that fuels diabetes, that drives fatty liver disease, that accelerates heart disease, that quietly increases cancer risk. It doesn't just sit there. It disrupts hormones. It inflames your metabolism. It slowly sabotages your health from the inside out. But here's the twist most people never hear. Visceral fat is dangerous. Yet, it's also the easiest fat to lose if you know how to target it. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Not vague advice, not gimmicks, not starvation. We're going to break down the fastest, most effective way to burn visceral fat using food, drinks, and exercise that work with your biology instead of against it. Let's start with food, because every bite you eat is either feeding visceral fat or starving it. One of the most powerful weapons you can use comes from plants, specifically carotenoid-rich foods. Carotenoids are natural pigments. They're what make carrots orange, tomatoes red, spinach dark green. But color is only the surface. Carotenoids are powerful antioxidants. And that matters because visceral fat thrives on metabolic stress and inflammation. When your body has excess energy, unstable molecules called free radicals begin damaging cells and disrupting metabolism. That damage pushes your body towards fat storage, especially in the abdomen. Carotenoids neutralize those free radicals. And here's where it gets fascinating. They don't just protect cells, they actually influence your genes. They help activate genes that burn fat and quiet genes that tell your body to store it. In controlled human trials, people who increased carotenoid-rich vegetables for just 8 weeks saw measurable reductions in visceral fat, even without extreme dieting. And it wasn't one magic vegetable. Carrots, cabbage, leafy greens, colorful produce across the board. The takeaway is simple. If it's colorful, your visceral fat probably hates it. Carrots, sweet potatoes, bell peppers, spinach, bright fruits and vegetables of any kind. The more color on your plate, the less fat around your organs. Now let's talk about another powerful fat-fighting compound, one you can drink. Flavonoid polyphenols, especially catechins. And the most practical way to get them? Green tea. You've heard the phrase, green tea burns fat. This isn't marketing hype. Catechins directly change how your body handles fat, especially visceral fat. They increase fat oxidation. They raise energy expenditure. They stimulate the nervous system to burn more stored fuel. And they do something even more impressive. They inhibit fat-digesting enzymes, meaning some of the fat you eat never even gets absorbed. Green tea also contains caffeine, and together, caffeine and catechins work synergistically, amplifying fat burning beyond what either could do alone. In controlled trials, people who drank catechin-rich green tea daily for about 3 months saw significant reductions in visceral fat without extreme lifestyle changes. For best results, choose minimally processed green teas like matcha or sencha. Now, zoom out for a moment. Yes, any calorie deficit can lead to weight loss, but targeted nutrition makes visceral fat loss faster and more efficient. And once your food is dialed in, exercise becomes the multiplier. Because when it comes to visceral fat, exercise does something dieting alone cannot. Large analyses of human studies show this clearly. Diet tends to move the scale. exercise reshapes your body.
In fact, exercise has a superior effect on visceral fat reduction, even when total body weight barely changes. One study showed that just 2 moderate cycling sessions per week for 2 months reduced visceral fat by nearly half. No extreme training, no daily workouts, just consistent, moderate intensity movement. And here's the most important part. The scale barely changed, yet insulin sensitivity improved dramatically. Subcutaneous fat dropped. Metabolic health improved. This is why obsessing over the scale can destroy motivation. The scale cannot see your organs. It cannot measure inflammation. It cannot reflect internal fat loss. Your body can be healing even when the number doesn't move. So what type of exercise works best? When researchers compared dozens of controlled trials, 2 methods stand out: vigorous aerobic exercise and high-intensity interval training. Both are highly effective at reducing visceral fat. Resistance training is still valuable, especially for preserving muscle and metabolic health. But if your main goal is burning visceral fat quickly, cardio deserves priority. And here's the good news. There is no perfect exercise. Running, cycling, rowing, swimming, dancing, brisk walking, the best exercise is the one you will actually do consistently. A flawless plan done twice a month loses to an enjoyable routine done 3 times a week. Aim for at least 45 minutes, 2 to 3 times per week. Moderate to vigorous intensity. If you don't track heart rate, use the talk test. Moderate intensity, you can speak full sentences, but you sound winded. Vigorous intensity, you can only say a few words before breathing. And here's the final advantage exercise has over dieting. Its benefits are dose-dependent. The more consistently you move, the more visceral fat you lose. Unlike calorie restriction, which hits a plateau, exercise keeps paying dividends. You do not need to starve yourself to lose belly fat. In fact, that often makes things worse. Eat enough to fuel your body. Create a small deficit. Increase activity gradually. Target the fat that actually matters. Because when visceral fat goes, health improves, energy returns, and the belly finally follows. Stay consistent, stay patient, and stay healthy. I'll see you in the next one.